If you want to do a lot of damage and melt bosses, then this build is going to be for you. This is going to be a level 150 Crusader build that is going to specialize in Haima sorceries, using the Haima cannon and the gavel to absolutely obliterate every single boss in this game. You do so much damage with this build, and I'm super excited to show it to you guys. We are going to be using a mix of melee and magic within this build. It is a fantastic combination of both, so let's go ahead and get started. We are using 4 awesome talismans for this build. The armor is absolutely phenomenal looking, and I believe somebody in my Elden Bling series had recommended this armor to me, so I tweaked it a little bit and I think it looks incredible. Our weapons also synergize really well, and we're going to start with those. So first off, we are using the Claymore. I have made this a cold Claymore and added frost buildup to it. It's going to have 125 frost buildup, and it's also going to scale with intelligence when you add a frost affinity to it. So we've added the Glintstone Pebble Ash of War, a frost affinity to the weapon, and it now scales with strength, intelligence, and dexterity. It's going to have a physical damage of 234 plus 174 and magic damage of 176 plus 22. This weapon goes very well with our current build. We're allowed to do some really cool spell casting and then also get in some sword strikes here and there as well to get these bosses down really fast and overall provide a fantastic playstyle for you that merges magic and melee together. Its attributes required to wield it are 16 strength and 13 dexterity, which you have very early in the game, and you can actually attain this weapon in Castle Morn as soon as you make your way through, right before you kill the boss. For our staff, we're going to be using Lusat's Glintstone Staff. This is going to scale really well with our sorceries, allowing us to get as much damage out of them as possible. Its sorcery scaling is going to be 392, and it's going to scale with strength and intelligence. We do have a strength and intelligence build going on here, obviously more intelligence than strength, but it is going to scale very well with both of those, allowing us to up our damage. It does take quite a lot of intelligence to wield this weapon, so you're going to have a 10 strength cap, and intelligence needed to wield this is going to be 52. So definitely a more late game staff. You can use pretty much any other staff you would like to until you get up to this point where you can grab Lusat's staff, but this is going to be found after you defeat the 2 bosses, the Nox Swordstress and the Nox Priest, in the Sellia Town of Sorcery. You will need to light 1 brazier before you can even get access to the room that they're in, so just take note of that, but they are right here on the map. It is going to increase your sorcery cost by 50%, but its high sorcery scaling really balances that out, allowing you to get more damage out of your weapon. Now for our Flask of Wondrous Physic, we are going to be using the Magic Shroud and Cracked tier, which is going to temporarily boost our magic abilities. All of our sorceries are going to get boosted by this tier by 20%, so that's a fantastic damage boost for us, and we're going to complement that tier with the Greenburst Crystal tier because stamina is going to be something that you need, especially when swinging around the Claymore one-handed. This is going to temporarily boost your stamina recovery speed by 15 per second for 3 minutes, so definitely a nice little stamina boost that we're getting there as well. You can find this very early in the game after you kill the Erdtree avatar by the minor Erdtree in Caelid east of the Smoldering Church, and the Magic Shroud and Cracked tier is going to be also dropped by an Erdtree avatar in the northeast portion of Liurnia of the Lakes, right here on the map. And guys, per usual, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this far into the video. If you guys like the content that you're seeing and the value you're receiving from these videos, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you guys know when I'm making more. We are on the road to 20k, so I just want to thank you a ton for that. Now, let's get into the talismans. Now, for our talismans of the build, we are going to be using 4 talismans that do a really good job of making this build really fun and benefiting the correct stats and sorceries that we need them to, so let's go ahead and get started with the talisman. We're going to be using the Godfrey Icon, the Graven Mask Talisman, the Magiscorpion Charm, and the Rottenwing Sword Insignia. Now, the Godfrey Icon is going to enhance our charge skills and spells, and considering the Haima Gavel and the Haima Cannon are going to both be charged spells, this is going to give us a nice 15% damage boost on top of that, which is very nice. The Graven Mask Talisman is going to greatly raise the potency of our sorceries. What this means is this is going to give you an 8% damage boost to all the sorceries that you're going to be using. We are not only using Haima sorceries in this build, we will have a few others as well that we will go over at the end of the video, so obviously having that nice damage boost is really nice. Next up, we have the Magiscorpion Charm. This is absolutely wonderful for PvE, but if you are taking this build into PvP, I would definitely swap this one out for the Graven School Talisman, because that will give you a 4% buff to your sorceries on top of the Graven Mask Talisman. However, the Magiscorpion Charm in PvE is going to be wonderful. We are going to get a 12% damage boost to our sorceries and magic damage, but you will take 10% more damage, so just be mindful of that when taking this into certain encounters within the Lands Between. Our 4th and last talisman is one of my favorites. You see it on a lot of my builds. It's going to be the Rottenwing Sword Sword insignia. This is going to greatly increase your attack power with successive attacks, which means you are going to get different tiers of attack power boosts all the way up until 13% after you hit the enemy 7 to 8 times. This is a really nice talisman, especially when we are looking at the Claymore as a very fast attacking greatsword. We're going to be able to get this attack power boost up, and then we're also going to be able to apply that attack power boost to our sorceries, so it all mends and blends very, very well together, allowing for one really powerful and cohesive build. Now, if you want to find any of these talismans, the Godfrey icon is going to be located in Altus Plateau in the Golden Lineage Everjail. It is a very difficult fight, but if you can get that boss in there down, then you're going to be able to get this talisman. The Graven Mask talisman is going to be located at the top of Albinauric Rise in the Consecrated Snowfields. You will need to buy the Imp Ashes from the merchant here in Raya Lucaria after you enter the main gate. Just reverse down the road and he will be sitting right there, and you can summon those ashes at the Rise, and then you'll be able to open the door. The Magic Scorpion Charm is going to be a quest reward given to you for completing Selen's questline. I will leave that video down in the description below, so if you need help doing that, you can go ahead and watch that and get this talisman for yourself. And lastly, we have the Rotwing Sword insignia, which you get from the end of Millicent's questline, which I will also leave down in the description for you to watch. As far as our armor, I did want to make sure that we got over the 52 poise mark, because typically if you don't, you are going to get knocked out of your casting, which is a huge pain when you're trying to put together a sorcery casting build. So obviously we have the Great Helm, the best looking helm in the entire game. We also have the Astrologer robe, which just makes this whole thing look really, really cool. It is only aesthetics. We next have these scaled gauntlets, and we also are going to be using the Lionel's Greaves. Like I said, this is going to wrap us up in 52 poise, allowing us to cast uninterrupted, as well as giving us a decent amount of armor for the majority of encounters in this build. The Great Helm can be found in Caelid from this merchant right here on the map. All you need to do is buy it from him. The Astrologer robe is also going to be located here on the map, bought from a nomadic merchant in Liurnia of the Lakes. These scaled gauntlets are going to be given to you as your first or second quest reward from the Volcano Manor questline, where you have to kill the Tarnished, and the Lionel boots are going to be located in the capital right here next to this site of grace. So I'm going to go over the sorceries that I'm using for this build real quick. We are going to be using Terra Magica, which is a great opening spell because it's going to allow you to buff yourself for 35% magic damage, and if you combine this with the Haima Cannon, you're going to do a crazy amount of damage when opening up on bosses. We're also going to be using the Carrion Slicer. This pairs really well with the Claymore because you can get a heavy attack off with the Claymore and then start attacking super quick with the Carrion Slicer, which makes for a very, very fun way to play. We're also going to be using our Carrion Phalanx, which is going to be an awesome defensive spell, allowing you to stagger enemies very, very quickly. Obviously, we're going to be using the Gavel of Haima, which is going to do a massive area of effect damage when you slam it on the ground. Then we're going to be using the Cannon of Haima, which is your big charge up, massive damage spell. And I have Flame Grant Strength and Golden Vow here because I'm in New Game Plus, and I can add those on here because I have a little bit of extra faith. But if you don't have those, you don't need to worry about them. And guys, there you have it. That's going to be it for this particular Strength Intelligence build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave down in the comments anything that you would change to the build, how you would pump more damage out of this. I would love to talk to you guys, love to hear from you as well. And I'm also going to leave the stats right here on the screen so you can see what you need from 50, 100, and 150 if you're going to level this up from a fresh playthrough. If you guys do like intelligence and sorcery builds a lot, I'm going to go ahead and leave a few on the screen right now just so you guys can check them out. You are not going to be disappointed. They are absolutely phenomenal. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, enjoy the game, and I'll see you in the next one.